It is 5:30 a.m. We're headed to Vegas.
"5 years ago, I got my first car. It was my aunt's Cosmic Blue 2007 Toyota Matrix. It has 5 seats, massive storage space, excellent gas mileage, and a bulletproof VVT1 inline-4 Toyota engine. It drove me through high school. It drove me through college. It drove me through carefree summers, through cold winters, 2 a.m. food runs, adventures and mischief, film sets and favors, internships and jobs. It did everything I ever asked of it. But it was never my car." We're in Death Valley, home of the largest thermometer. Don't get the wrong impression. I love this car. I'm immensely thankful for it and to it. The Matrix has been much more than a car to me. It's given me a place to laugh and to cry, to ponder and to rage, a place to talk and to be alone, a place to party and a place to pray. But it was never my car.
How hot is it?
122 degrees.
It's 122 degrees.
For 5 years, I've pointed to the Matrix and said, yeah, that's my car, but it's only because it's the car I drive. It isn't mine. I haven't made it what it is. The only elements of me in the Matrix are remnants of memories. The car is almost exactly the same as the day it rolled off the factory floor. For my 18th birthday, my dad surprised me with a new head unit for the car so I could use an aux cable instead of the 2 CDs that I'd been swapping out. But it stopped there. It still has the stock speakers, no amplifiers, subwoofers, or DSPs. No rims or tires or coilovers, body kits, intakes, or exhausts. All I did was drive it. Because it was never my car. My freshman year at college, I had a question. It was an innocent question, and it changed my life. How does a manual transmission work?
We're talking about manual transmission.
Probably like cars.
Turbo. How do they work? Power, speed, and
I'm Zach and this is Money Pit. Welcome back to Team O'Neill. I'm Wyatt.
Hey guys, Chris Fix here. We're gonna take our 2 Mazda FD RX-7s.
This is the story of how they drove across the country in just 24 hours.
My eyes were open to a new world, a world that had many branches. Over the next few years, I started to see it all around me. Driving changed from a chore to an I Spy game every time I was on the road. I was watching videos about cars, movies about cars, reading about cars, playing games about cars, talking to friends about cars, and going to shows to look at cars. I was fascinated by them because suddenly it was so much more than just a way to get from A to B. I wanted to know how they worked, about the different cultures, how to drive them, what made them special, why people would spend such ridiculous amounts of money, time, and effort on such outrageous builds. Drag racing, drifting, stance, Bosuzoku, JDM, domestic, European, donks, lowriders, time attacks, resto mods, show cars. Each rabbit hole led to another, and I've been going down them for 4 years now. And I wanted to take part in it, to have my car. I always wanted to modify a car, to take a car and make it what it is, to take what the manufacturer has made, what the engineers and artists have created, and put your touch on it, to shape and define its character. Not to do any of this for attention. Frankly, that's my favorite part of the Matrix. It's invisible. No one would ever give it a second look. I want to do these things to a car because I want to. I want my car to be an extension of myself, not just a one-size-fits-all box. To have my blood, sweat, and tears poured into something that is an achievement. I want to have something to take pride in, that I can look at and say, I made that what it is.
And it's almost 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah, we're gonna get home at like midnight.
So, I started looking for my car. It had to be sporty. It had to be somewhat practical. It had to be reliable. It had to be fun. I had to like it. I had to be able to afford it. And most importantly, it had to be a stick shift. First, it was a Chevy Cobalt SS. Two-door coupe with a turbo i4 making 260 horsepower at the crank. It's not an ideal car. It wasn't a nice car. It was a cheap car. And I eventually decided if it's going to be my car, I probably shouldn't cheap out on it. Then, it was a Mazda Speed 3. Innately practical, sporty hot hatch with 300 horsepower to the front wheels out of a turbocharged inline 4. I almost bought one of these on 3 different occasions. Its miles per gallon are deceptively high. Then, it was an Infiniti G35. Stylish, powerful, strong engine note. 350Z aftermarket made this a compelling option. Finally, there was the Scion FRS. Great styling, amazing shifter, surprisingly practical, an absolute blast to drive. There was just one problem. When I stepped on the pedal, it felt like I was flooring it in the Matrix. The search for my car continued over the span of about 4 years. These options shuffled constantly. Every time I thought my mind was made up, I would read something about one of the others and it would start all over again. The cycle continued for what seemed like a time that would never end. Until July 8th, 2021. I drove 5 hours to Vegas to meet a man named Mike, who sold me his 1999 silver C5 Corvette.
An LS1 V8 engine sends 350 horsepower at the crank to the back wheels. The platform handles amazing. While this does have American muscle under the hood, it is first and foremost a sports car. It is designed to go fast, corner fast. Its capability right off the bat is much higher than any of the other cars I was looking at by a significant margin, and it has more room to grow than any of them by far. Even with price and gas mileage, this outshines the others. If I'm on the freeway doing the speed limit, I can easily get 30 miles to the gallon with this car. Literally the only thing that this does not do better than the other cars on my list of contenders is that it doesn't have a backseat. It's less good at carrying passengers. I'm absolutely thrilled that I got this car. It's amazing and so much more than I would have hoped for when I first started looking for what would go in my driveway.
See, this is the key to all of this. This ball of stainless steel. It isn't anything special. It weighs about 1.5 pounds. It's literally just a metal ball. But this particular metal ball has a much greater meaning to me. You see, for the last month, I've been driving Mike's Corvette around. It's been fun to drive a Corvette that I own. Learning how to handle a clutch in traffic, how close I can park to a curve, how to deal with the added attention, all of that stuff. But it's not my car. Not yet. July 8th was a crazy day for me. I'd never bought a car before, let alone travel 13 hours in a day to do it. But it really just felt like one more step in the road to this moment. Right now. After 5 years of waiting, thousands of hours of research, hundreds of class sessions spent daydreaming, dozens of test drives, I am going to take my car for our first drive.